Well, the Super Bowl is now 1 week away, and the biggest annual sporting event in the nation has become a hunting ground for human sex traffickers. Local law enforcement are on high alert at the Super Bowl's host city in Glendale, Arizona, where an increase in travelers will be, as human trafficking typically takes place inside hotels and resorts. Correspondent Ryan Bass joining us now with details on this disturbing trend. Ryan, what can you tell us?
Well, Natasha, in 2011, then Texas Attorney General Greg Abbott said of the Super Bowl, and I quote, "It's the greatest show on earth, but it also has an ugly underbelly," referencing the scope of human trafficking, especially around the big game. Now, fast forward 12 years later, and officials are now preparing for, of course, the big game in Glendale, Arizona this upcoming weekend. Hundreds of thousands of people are going to be descending on the desert for Super Bowl 57. Many say the event is perfectly set up for sex traffickers to exploit young boys and young girls. Now, studies show that sporting events like the Super Bowl, it's not the only one, but sporting events like it, are where more than half of the money is made in the $150 billion world of human trafficking. But law enforcement officials in Arizona are now working with advocacy groups to tell them what to look out for as thousands descend on Glendale this week. One group's president tells NewsNation that predators aren't as obvious as you might think to spot.
Traditionally, sex trafficking isn't where you throw someone in a van because you would obviously get caught a lot quicker doing that in a large crowd. Really what predators look for is vulnerabilities. And vulnerabilities, whether it's a young girl or someone at an event and maybe they're drinking too much and they want to lure you to their car or their hotel room, that's really how sex trafficking takes place. It's force, fraud, or coercion.
And again, I do want to note, Natasha, sex trafficking is a 24/7 issue. It's not just around the Super Bowl, but officials do step up patrols and operations this week in advance of the big game. And in L.A. last year, there were 182 arrests for solicitation and 30 arrests for suspected trafficking and exploitation. That was made by the L.A. Sheriff's Department. They said that they rescued 65 adults and 7 minors from potentially being sexually trafficked. And in Arizona this year, Natasha, hospitality workers are being taught to spot the signs of sex trafficking as well. The state also has a tip line set up, Natasha, so they are getting out in front of it and doing what they can to make sure that it doesn't happen at this year's Super Bowl.
Oh, absolutely. Ryan Bass live for us tonight. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.